Any questions?
What do you think the biggest challenge will be? I know you feel comfortable.
I don't, well, we have, our challenge was in putting the bill together one time, and then now with its improvements. So we built consensus in our caucus, so by the time we have legislation, we feel pretty strong about the legislation that we will have. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yes, sir?
Yes, how about the public option?
How about the public option? As I have said, I believe that it is essential, if we're going to have true competition, that we have what has been known as a public option. We didn't name it, but because it says public option, there's a perception in the public, and Jackie, why don't you join me on this, in the public that this is paid for by the taxpayers' dollars. It is not. It is called a public option as contrast with private insurance. But it is something that has to sustain itself. It is not, benefits are paid for from premiums that come in. So in fact, it has to be administratively self-sufficient, it has to be actuarially sound, and it has to be a true competitor in the private section, with the private sector, is a place for people to go other than the private sector. But it is not publicly funded, and people are trying to give the impression that it is. It is not. Any funds that would be used to help set it up must be paid back. It is a sound business competitor. Now let me just say this. In our bill, we mandate that businesses and individuals must have insurance. We're very proud of what we have done for small businesses in our legislation. Without this legislation, the cost of insurance to small businesses will be about $2.5 trillion over the next 10 years. And our legislation goes a long way to reducing all of that. Over the course of time, our seniors who are now caught in the donut hole, well, they immediately will get some relief. And do you know that over the next 10 years, the pharmaceutical industry will make between $4.5 and $5 trillion. Much of it from all of these new customers they have, because many of them are subsidized by the plans. So when we say to people, you must have insurance, you are mandated to have insurance, we can't then just throw them to the wolves and say, now go negotiate with your insurance company, unless we give them a lever, some leverage to say, I can buy private insurance, or I can buy what I call the consumer option, otherwise known as the public option. And I think that leverage for the consumer will again improve the insurance policies that they have, as well as lower cost. Now we have to get, the Senate has the same provision that we have in the House is contained in Senator Kennedy's bill. This is Senator Kennedy's proposal for the public option. We put his proposal into our bill. Less robust than I might like, but certainly still robust and good. And so now we go to conference with the Senate, and that is our, if you want to know the challenge, that is the challenge, is how we prevail in the conference with a public option. The President has said, I believe that the public option is the best way to keep insurance companies honest and to increase competition. If you have a better idea, put it on the table. We're still waiting for that better idea. So we're pretty excited about it because this is historic. It began with Teddy Roosevelt, a Republican president over 100 years ago, who started the whole idea of people having insurance. The attempt was to grow that, expand coverage over time. We have not succeeded until now. We are on the brink of doing so, and I'm certain we will. Any other questions? Dr. Graham?
Yes, sir.
You're on the spot.
What is in the pipeline nationally research to eradicate hepatitis B
So there's a lot in the pipeline. In fact, NIH has taken this on as a top priority, as well as the CDC. We actually just recently funded an Institute of Medicine report to look at developing a research infrastructure around hepatitis B and helping to deal with many of the issues that we're talking about here today. That report is going to be released by the Institute of Medicine in about 2 months, and that's going to serve as a template for many of us in terms of what we move forward. So we are happy with a lot of the progress that's being made. I'll tell you that we need to do more. And the Institute of Medicine report is going to serve as a roadmap for much of what we need to do to move forward, especially around issues around research. So I'm glad you asked that question, sir.
And I just may add that when we passed the recovery package in January, we had a major infusion, over $10 billion, into the National Institutes of Health, so they had more resources to do their job. Similarly for health information technology, so that they had more opportunity to do their job. So we had a common medical record for all Americans, and that everyone's medical records were accessible to them wherever they may be. It was all predicated on the idea that this research is taxpayer funded and therefore belongs to every person, regardless of their ability to pay. And then also that the health IT guaranteed that the most, just think of this, the most privileged person in America has access to better care if the poorest person in America does as well. Because we all learn in the system about how to prevent and how to treat and how to cure. So we're all in this together. It's pretty exciting, and again, I thank all of you. We got off to a rousing start on this Halloween day with the Chinese dragon dance. Wasn't that great? Let's hear it for that again. Thank you to the Chinese hospital. Thank you all. Stay tuned. It won't be long, and we will have reached our wonderful goal of accomplishing what Senator Kennedy challenged us to do, and under the leadership of our great president, we're now on the verge of doing. Thank you all very much.